Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from a throwaway account and says, I, 27 male, discovered my wife's 30 female family was behind my vicious cyberbullying attack. My wife knew, but she hid it for years. How do I move past this? My 27 male marriage is in a really bad spot after a deep breach of trust. I don't know how to recover or how to trust my wife 30 female again. For some context, we've been together for 7 years and married 5. We have a child, 2 male. We met at a con. I thought her cosplay was amazing, struck up a conversation, and the rest is history. She's the most loving, unselfish, and decent person I've ever met. Our relationship was never without its challenges. Our biggest obstacle was her family. My presence was unwelcome. They're very close-knit, and if one doesn't accept you, then you're not getting far. There are a few family members who broke away from the pack, but no one hardly acknowledges them. They're no contact and black sheep. I didn't know how my wife's family was, but I did know family was extremely important to her. Her whole upbringing was based on family, so I tried everything in my power to make it work. It didn't really put up with me until our son. Between our wedding planning to shortly before the wedding, I was the target of some relentless and vicious cyberbullying. It got personal. Fake bad reviews polluted my business profile too. It cost me some potential clients. I didn't know where it came from or why. I couldn't find a solution. I'd report, but it'd take a while for anything to be done, or there'd be more accounts coming out for another round. The whole thing impacted my life and my mental health. It took a toll. My wife was incredibly supportive. She was my rock and my best friend. I loved her even more for her care and how she held me down. Then the trolling and everything stopped. I wanted nothing more than to move on. I put it all behind me until the other day my wife confessed that her family was behind the harassment. I didn't believe her at first, but she was serious and showed me proof in their family group chat. I felt like I was right back there again. They were gloating and justifying themselves, saying stuff like, some people gotta learn the hard way, and if he wants to join the fold, here's his initiation. I knew I wasn't their favorite person, but I never realized they hated me and would go to such extremes. I asked my wife when did she find out and if she was a part of it. She swore she wasn't and she'd never do that to me. She claimed she didn't initially know it was her family until a few months before our wedding. One of our sister-in-laws, 28 female, left a profile up on her phone and my wife saw it. She confronted her family and made them stop. I asked why she was telling me everything now. She said it was weighing on her and she opened up to her eldest sister, 35 female, one of the family's black sheep. She threatened to tell me the truth if my wife didn't. Nothing my wife said made it better. She knew for years what her family did and hid it from me. She kept everything quiet. It hurts more coming from her because she knew firsthand my pain. I was pretty numb. My wife was anxious and kept pushing for me to say something. I told her there wasn't anything she could say right now that would make it okay. What she did was no better than her family. They made my life hell, and her first instinct was to cover for them. She started crying and begged me to understand. She said it wasn't like that and she was trying to make things right with as little damage as possible and mend relationships. I wasn't very receptive to her. She wasn't reaching me. I couldn't help her or myself. I told her I needed some time to clear my head. She was against it. She said we would work through this together, but I was firm on space. Space isn't a request she's respected. I'm really trying to understand her side. I'm trying to move past it, but I feel so betrayed. I trusted her more than anyone. I'm my most vulnerable with her. I kept opening up to her about the incident, even after she knew the truth. She encouraged me to let it go and not allow it to have any claim on me. I thought she had my best interest in mind. Now I just see it as her attempt to protect her family yet again. I haven't confronted anyone involved. I don't think they're worth it, but I've made it clear they're no longer allowed to see our son until further notice. Now I'm getting texts about how I'm depriving my child of grandparents and aunts over past family spats. One of the hardest parts is the distance from my wife. She's my best friend and partner in every way. Now we're mostly only communicating about our son and other household necessities. She's hurt by my rejection, and she's been crying often. I don't know if I'm being unfair to her. I hate all of this. I want to make our marriage work, but I'm questioning our relationship up to now. I'm just really lost. I need outside perspectives. How do I navigate this situation and move forward for my marriage and myself? Now, I was thinking on the back of this one, would counseling or therapy of some sort help them as a couple? Potentially, but for me, I'm not sure I'd be able to move past that. I mean, she only told the OP because her sister threatened to expose her. It's not guilt, it's damage control, isn't it? She literally watched her family psychologically torture you, damage your business at the same time, so damage your joint finances, and then continue to maintain sort of like normal family relationships while hiding what they did to you. Absolutely awful. It's one of those ones for me where the trust is broken like in such a way. How do you rebuild from that? But the first commenter says, I think what's bothering me most is your wife is still not getting it. She doesn't understand how vile her family is. And if they did it once, they could do it again. They took your money, your peace of mind, your confidence. Even though she stopped it, she never told you, leaving you to wonder why and who. And past family spats. It's not like this was a little tiff and they apologized and you won't let it go. I'd suggest therapy for you both. And I don't even know, at the very least, you'll learn how to co-parent together if you can't save the marriage. Maybe a therapist can get her to see how huge this is. Opie says, I don't know. It's like my wife's not getting where I'm coming from or just doesn't want to go there. Her family never even apologized. They're making it out like I'm holding grudges. Now the commenter says, also realize she didn't tell you because she wanted to. She only told you because someone else threatened to tell you and she wanted to control exactly what was said. If I were you, I'd want to speak to that other person who knew, i.e. the black sheep. It's such a huge breach of trust. She aided her relatives into trying to destroy your livelihood and self-worth. I can't see any reason why you'd want to remain married to someone who clearly doesn't value you or really love you. And as demonstrated, she loves and places her family above you. Commenter replies to that saying, absolutely. I'd be getting the perspectives from all the black sheep at this point. I suspect that OP has no idea how deep this family's long history of toxicity goes. Moosey Chu says she let them hurt you. You were hurt because her family is messed up. Then she covered it up and did not defend you or seek justice. Now you're stuck because you're married and you have a child together. She thinks now that she's been honest, but she was forced to by a black sheep sister who is the only one who has any morals. Her conscience is clear and you have to just let it go. Don't. If she doesn't respect your request for space, another boundary she is bulldozing, then move out. I'd be gone. This won't get better. You can't trust her and she'll always cover for them. She isn't your partner. Late reply saying exactly. If her sister had not forced the issue, you still wouldn't know. Your wife would have been happy with it never coming up. That's reasons enough for me to be done. No concern for you, only with how it would and is affecting her. Then he says, so her idea of making things right is to lie to you for years, providing cover for the awful, awful people who did this to you. Any decent partner would cut that family off without a backward glance. I'm so sorry, OP. You must be reeling. OP says she said she thought she was protecting me and that she handled the situation with her family. I just don't see anything she did as for my benefit. I see it as more as she was protecting her family yet again before anything else. Madly asks the OP, is she going to cut off her family now? OP says she hasn't said anything about that. She's been too flustered with me asking for some space. No solutions have been offered. My small self says I couldn't imagine trying to rebuild after that level of betrayal. Has anyone tried to make amends? Take ownership of their actions? She can make excuses all she wants, but it doesn't sound like she's taking accountability. I don't know if I would even be open to continuing. I'd be having a heart-to-heart with my lawyer to see what custody arrangements would look like. Opie says there's been no apology of any kind or acknowledging what they did. They're making it out like I'm depriving them from my son over a minor dispute. So at some point later, OP comes back into the post to update and says thank you to everyone who reached out. I-27 Male wasn't able to reply to everyone, but it was appreciated. It solidified my wake-up call and helped me see I wasn't overthinking. I wanted to give an update. Earlier this week, my wife, 30 Female, and I were able to regroup and hash stuff out. I was glad I took the space I did because even though the situation is still hurtful and feels like a massive betrayal, I was in a better position to talk. My wife thought I was calling it quits, but I told her we were at a crossroads and needed to talk things out. She apologized for what her family did and her role in it. She said she never intended to hurt me. She had convinced herself she was protecting me from more pain. She realizes now she was largely protecting herself. She admitted she was afraid of telling me the truth because she thought it wouldn't just end the wedding, but that I'd end the relationship. She lost other relationships and friendships over her family. She didn't want to lose me too. Over the years she wanted to tell me but kept talking herself out of it. And then the cover-up kept getting bigger and she didn't know how to confess. I told her I didn't agree with her choices and I wish she had more trust in me and our relationship. I meant it too. I wouldn't have just ditched her. She asked where do we go from here and promised no matter the outcome, there wouldn't be any more secrets between us. I told her I wanted to work on our marriage, but things needed to change. We couldn't survive with our family looming, and I didn't want our son exposed to them. She asked what I needed of her. I was never big on ultimatums, and I don't really consider this as one, but I was adamant that any path of us moving forward together would mean radical boundaries with her family. She was honest that the thought of making this big of a move against her family was scary, but said if it's between them and us/our son, 2 Male, then she chooses us. Her agreement was major for me because I really didn't know where she'd land if she had to choose. I never wanted to put her in that position, but after everything her family did, I feel there was no other way. The reason I have hope that my wife is being real is because she sent a text to their group chat stating to stop blowing up my phone, and that there's no access to our son until further notice is a joint decision she fully supports. I didn't expect that of her. She did it on her own. Of course, they didn't like it. Now she's labeled as disrespectful and ungrateful, and how the black sheep eldest sister, 35 Female, and I are poisoning her against them. It was also said, what kind of man takes a woman away from her family over a spat? This isn't a spat, nor do I have anything to prove about manhood. They led a whole campaign designed to ruin my life. Their actions are chilling to me. These are the same people who looked me in the eye with a straight face while everything was going on. This is about protecting my family. My wife has gone low contact. Her family has this mindset that significant others or friends come and go, and it's family who is the constant and where loyalty should be. They can't seem to compute that my wife, our son, and I are the core family. They are extended family, and they don't have claim over our son. Being involved with him is a privilege, not a right. I don't know what their exact issue is with me. They only tolerated me because of our son. When I first met them, one of my wife's siblings, 28 Female, said they thought my wife was settling for me because of age, and that she could do better. They're a very tight-knit group, and if one doesn't take to you, then you're not getting far with the rest. It felt like once their minds were made up, there was nothing I could do. I've long since stopped trying to make sense of any of their reasonings. It's a rabbit hole. Our plan is to move to a new area to create a healthier distance, cement boundaries, and have a fresh start. I brought up therapy too. It's something we've been discussing. We'll be officially starting that soon. I think moving away will be beneficial for us. It's something my eldest sister-in-law had advised us on. During the wedding planning, she was encouraging my wife to move and create her own space away from the family's isolating circle. I know my wife is more than just her family. I've seen it firsthand. She shines so bright when she's away from their influence. That's what I meant when I said she was the most loving, unselfish, and decent person I've ever met. If I'm being honest, I don't know how things will turn out. I'm still hurt. I still feel betrayed, and my wife's facing her own challenges with low contact. But I want to be hopeful. I don't want to close the door. I'm hoping we can heal together. Thank you again to everyone for the support. I found not everything is as isolating as with the majority of my in-laws. It means more than you know. I'm really not sure how I felt about that update because for me, I'm not sure I'll be able to move past that, like I said in the very first part of the post. But at the same time, fair play for him giving it a go. He sounds like he's got some boundaries, but at the same time, again, the low contact in this was worrying. You know, that his wife is tied to her family in such a way that you're not cutting them off. You're just, you know, you're keeping both paths open for the future, really. The family isn't going to change in this. They're still literally calling it a spat and claiming, you know, that he's poisoning her against them. These aren't people that you go low contact with. These are people that you block and forget exist. So I think keeping that door open in any way could be particularly dodgy, I think. Like the family's just on a timeout and then, you know, they start to rebuild their relationships after that, which, you know, for OP's sake, you don't want to be around these people at all. Commenter says, dude, I wish you all the best. I hope your wife can keep the no/low contact. OP says, thank you, it's much appreciated. I'm really hoping this can be a turning point. Cursed Cactus says, her family crossed an unforgivable line. Cut them out of your life completely. You must forge your own path, and toxic people have no place in it. Wish you the best of luck. Another commenter says, even if it were forgivable, they'd have to express remorse for that to happen, and they never, ever will. Homework says, low, no contact. Dude, you didn't resolve anything. OP says, I didn't expect my wife to cut everything fully off all at once. The contact has mostly been implementing some boundaries we discussed and stuff that won't be condoned anymore. Wonderful says, well, I hope you realize that her and her family are right now plotting to cut you out of your son's life. Let me know when CPS comes knocking at the door with complaints that you're abusing your son and your wife just lets it happen. OP says, that's not what my wife's doing, and whatever my in-laws are doing is none of my concern. I can't monitor their every move and thought. The truth will prevail. It always does. Moon Tiara says, your wife, what kind of wife betrays, puts down, belittles and lies to her partner? She did nothing to protect you and only herself. I could never trust her again. If she'll allow that to happen to you, imagine the awfulness your child will experience. OP says, I don't condone my wife's actions and I'm not deluding myself that any of this will be easy. I'm willing to give our marriage an honest try. Broken trust doesn't mean it can never be regained. We aren't the first people in history going through a trust crisis. I made a commitment. Marriage requires making a vow for better or for worse. I'm not saying that covers everything under the sun. Of course, there are situations where a parting of ways is needed, but not every case is the same. I made vows to give my marriage an honest try in the bad times. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. How would you deal with it if you was OP in this situation? Would you be able to move past this with the low contact? Would you insist on no contact? Or would you just be done with it? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Our next story comes from Divorced BB Mama, who says, from the Am I Overreacting subreddit, and says, am I overreacting for reporting someone to Hinge and getting their profile deleted? In case you were like me, Hinge is basically a dating app. Google says it's for more serious relationships rather than casual hookups. I really don't know. I've only heard of it twice within these stories. So, but there's a trigger warning on this one of stalking and harassment, emotional manipulation, and obsessive behavior as well. So it starts off. So I was trying to get back into the dating scene and matched with this dude. He seemed nice on the app and I gave him my number so we could set something up. Obviously, as you can see in the messages, he was crazy, at least in my opinion, so I started ignoring him. Not to mention my bio is littered with stuff saying I do tattoos. First pick and lady pick is my Hinge profile. Here may be where I'm overreacting. I reported his account after it happened and it got taken down. I don't feel like I really did anything wrong because I feel I saved some other girls from dealing with his craziness. But my friends think I should have just ignored him and not reported him. I feel like if Hinge agrees that he was crazy, I'm not wrong. Ask him Reddit, just so I don't feel crazy. And then there was a transcript of the text messages sent between them. So John, the guy, says, hey, is this OP? OP responds, hi. Yes, this is her. I'm assuming this is John. He replies, awesome. Yeah, this is. Glad to finally have a chance to get to know you better. And OP responded saying, oh, you as well. Glad we matched. Sorry if I don't text back fast. I'm at work currently, so don't mind if it takes me a minute to respond. John says, oh, cool. I just got off work about an hour ago. What do you do for work again? I thought I saw in your profile something with art. Opie says, yeah, I'm a tattoo apprentice currently. He said, oh really? Opie says, yeah. Do you have any tattoos? He says, no, I'm not a big fan of them. I thought you were more like a receptionist at a tattoo studio or something. Opie says, in my profile you can clearly see I have a lot of tattoos. I have about 30-ish tats, but sorry if you felt misled, I guess. My profile has tattoo apprentice in the job category thing. John says, no, you look great. Sorry, didn't mean it in that way to insult you. I don't mind if you have tattoos, but is being a tattoo artist what you want your big girl job to be? Ugh. Opie says, yeah, I'm pursuing a career in tattoos. Why? John says, not my thing at all. Opie says, then why swipe and get my number after seeing all my tattoos? I think I literally have pics on my profile of me in the tattoo studio. John said, again, just thought you answered the phones or something. I mean, you're obviously beautiful. It's just that doesn't seem like a good career. I don't mean to offend you, so don't take this the wrong way, but almost all tattoo artists are pill poppers and have a bad past. Most have been to jail. I've met several tattoo artists and they've all been to jail for bad stuff. Opie says, bro, are you trolling me or are you being for real? He says, no lol. It's just I don't want to marry someone like that, you know. Like you're beautiful and we're funny and really nice on Hinge. And I'm sure you're great and I'd still like to get to know you of course. But maybe if we click after a few dates, you could give up your tattoo thing. I mean, you could still do something with art. I won't stop you from doing that. But when or if we decide to have kids, I don't want them around that kind of environment of drug dealers and jail thugs. No offense. Opie responded saying, so you want me to quit my relationship that I've been working on getting for 3 years for you, a total stranger, and do what? Like, do you see how insane you sound right now? You're fucking crazy. We just met and you're talking about future kids and marriage. How you want me to quit my apprenticeship? Opie says, you're too pretty to be acting like this. Ugh. I'm looking for my future wife, as I stated in my Hinge bio. Why swipe if you're not even serious? Women these days in your feminist propaganda. No one even will want to get tattooed by a woman. You would genuinely make such a good housewife or a children's book illustrator, and you're wasting all your potential for what? Opie says, I was looking for something serious too, but you're genuinely insane. He says, don't text me again until you start thinking logically about our relationship. Then says, hello. Then says, are you thinking logically about our future now? He says, come on, don't be like that. And this is just a series of messages which I'm just going to go through. Listen, I'm sorry if I was rude and sorry about the feminist stuff I said. You probably aren't even a feminist. Sometimes I get mad and just say stuff I don't mean. Can we start over? I can take us to dinner tonight or drinks, all on me. I can provide for you. I can get you out of this lifestyle if that's what you need. You okay? Getting worried I haven't gotten a response. Morning, want to come to breakfast with me? Did you seriously report my Hinge account? I only matched with you and 3 other people. Now it's taken down for no fucking reason. My whole profile is gone because of you. You're insane. I knew I couldn't save you from your lifestyle, but I tried anyway. Goodbye. Gee bloody whiz. What an absolute Burke. It sounds like he's been listening to too many of those podcasts by the sound of it. But we have an update in a moment. One of the commenters says definitely report, but also don't give your number out so easily. Opie says we talked for almost 2 days before I gave him my number. But after that, I probably would just give people like my social media or something. I watch way too much true crime. Commenter replies saying 2 days and your career never came up. That's wild. Opie says I assumed he knew since it's literally everywhere on my profile. I asked him his and he didn't ask me, so I assumed he knew. Commenter says, I like how he still let you choose between housewife and children's book illustrator. Opie laughs and says, I know, right? What great options for me to choose from. Commenter says, I love it when people are so deliriously idiotic that it ventures into entertaining territory. You got hella tattoos and your profile says, let me tattoo you. And he says, I thought you just answered the phones or something. Truly iconic stupidity. Opie says, like, could I have been any clearer? Lol. Commenter says, in quotes, you're too pretty to be acting like this and you genuinely make such a good housewife or children's book illustrator. Then says, what in the red pill misogynistic garbage is this twat on about? Not overreacting at all. Good for you for reporting this creep. Opie says Andrew Tate has done insane damage to men in their 20s. Someone says, report John immediately. Opie says, I reported him after he told me to stop talking to him. His account didn't get taken down until like 2 days later. Opie comes back in and says, so I made a post a few days ago about this guy that matched with me on Hinge and then just was fucking insane after we started talking. He basically was upset I was a tattoo artist, even though my Hinge profile had several parts on it about me being an artist. After I made the post, he texted me several times. I ignored his text, so he went and found my Facebook. I deadass don't know what he did because I have my Facebook settings to where you can't even find me in the search bar thingy and have all my friends private. After he texted me on Facebook, I blocked his number, Messenger, and Facebook. Well, today I get text from him on Instagram telling me he's going to show up to my work. I didn't have my tattoo studio listed anywhere and I've never posted which studio I work at online. This scared me. I truly don't know how he figured it out because even my tattoo page has none of it listed. He didn't text my tattoo Instagram, he texted my main Instagram profile. I called my boss after this and asked why he let the receptionist give out when I was at work. Apparently this dude pretended to be my cousin. He somehow knew my cousin's name. Someone my boss has tattooed before and acted like him and said he wanted to know what time I was in tomorrow so I could do a flash tattoo on him. The receptionist just told my boss like, hey, Opie's cousin wants to know when Opie will be here tomorrow for a small tattoo. So my boss told him. I told my boss everything that happened and I'm not going in tomorrow just to be safe. My boss said he's going to be on the lookout, but since I won't be there, everything should be fine. Maybe I'm being dramatic by not showing up. I don't actually think he'd like kill me or something, but you never know. Anyway, here's an update for you. You were right, this motherfucker was crazy. Opie then gives the transcripts of the messages from both Instagram and the Facebook messages. The Instagram messages says, John says, are you ready to talk about our future yet? Are you going to keep running and blocking me? I'll be at your work tomorrow. I called and the lady said you'll be there at like 3 for a tattoo. Obviously I don't need a tattoo, so don't bring your supplies. Is that the best time to pick you up for lunch? Opie says, do not show up at my work. I will call the cops if I see you even drive around the premises. I'm not interested and I've blocked you 3 times now. Please leave me alone. You are scaring me. He said, how am I scaring you? I'm just trying to be a nice fucking guy and take you to lunch. I know you got trauma from whatever liberals you dated in your past, but I'm a provider. I can provide for you. You can forget about this silly tattoo stuff and stop pretending to be so tough. You're the woman. Act like it. Stop worrying about your future career and tattoos and start worrying about our future. Seriously, I'm not blaming you for being like this. I'm blaming you for not letting me fix this. Opie says, what the fuck are you even talking about? Do not show up. This is your final warning. I'm not interested in whatever weird trad wife fantasy you got going on in your head. I've never told you even anything about my past. I have no trauma from ex-liberal boyfriends, lol. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Opie then says, do not contact me again or I'm going to the cops. The Facebook messages says, hey, do you remember me? It's John. We matched on Hinge, but my account got deleted. Do you still want to grab dinner? Opie says, bro, what? I blocked you. How did you even find my Facebook? He said, it's your name, lol, and we live in the same hometown. Not that hard. Why did you block my number? You wouldn't respond here if you weren't interested. So when can I pick you up? Again, my offer still stands for the job. Opie says you're seriously fucking insane. Like you're genuinely creeping me out. Now please leave me alone. He says, how am I creeping you out when I just want to love you? Nothing I'm doing or saying is creepy. I'm confused why you think that. I think you're just being sensitive. All I'm trying to do is be fucking nice and buy you dinner. I only matched with you and 3 other people. Now it's taken down for no fucking reason. My whole profile is gone because of you. You're insane. I knew I couldn't save you from your lifestyle, but I tried anyways. Goodbye. And continues to say, hey, can we talk? I think I was a bit too aggressive yesterday. Even though you were the one who reported me. Let's just forget about this and talk over dinner. You're a beautiful girl, and I know you seem perfect with everything but the tattoo idea. Like, if you really want to work and don't want to do like kids books or something, you can work at Drive She with me and probably be a receptionist. John says, hey love, are you free now? And that's where it ends. Commenters come back into this and says, you are not being dramatic. This is an absolute insane behavior. Call the cops. It will not stop there. It will escalate the situation. You are in danger. Don't wait for the worst. Opie says, if he actually does show up at my job tomorrow, which God, hoping he doesn't, I will be calling the cops. I feel like if I did now, it wouldn't be enough evidence for them to do anything. But with him showing up to my job after I told him not to, will be. Commodore says this guy is super duper obsessive. Try and stay away from him because this is the kind of guy that is dangerous to be around. Opie says, oh, trust me, I am. I'm glad now that I reported him on Hinge when I did and his account got deleted. Commodore says, call the cops regardless. You're afraid to go to work and the long paper trail you have, the better for a protection order if need be. Opie says the crazy part is that I've literally never met this dude in person. Do you think they'll take it seriously even though I've never met him? I mean, he went from 0 to 100. My last post I made in here was like, oh my god, this dude's insane. Now it's like, what the fuck? Commodore says, holy hell. Take all the screenshots, history, everything, to the cops. Even if they're southern cops, do it immediately. This I'm a fucking nice guy lunatic needs to be stopped in his tracks. This is beyond dangerous. Please don't wait and don't accept the cops doing nothing about it. Guys like this murder women. Opie says, I wasn't aware until a little bit ago you could bring the cops stuff like this for a paper trail. I will be doing that later today. Commodore says this should have been reported to Ellie like yesterday. This is stalking. Save all contacts he's made with you. Your Hinge profile, report / their response, and take it all to the sheriff's department immediately. He's a dangerous person and you have every right to be scared and should be scared. And if they don't take you seriously, find a DV lawyer who will. Opie says fortunately his Hinge was banned. Unfortunately when it got banned I lost all the messages on there. I do have screenshots of all the texts and stuff he sent afterwards. If I knew he'd be this fucking weird, I would have screenshotted the Hinge messages before I reported him. And many people just saying Opie needs to be safe. Opie says, I promise I'm safe. I went to the police and showed them the screenshots of everything. They said since nothing has happened like that in person and we haven't met, not much they can do. But if he does show up to my work tomorrow while I'm not there, I could get a restraining order. So either he fucks off or I get a restraining order. Works for me. They said they'd patrol around my area. But it's a little hard as I'm in the south and live in a very small town on the outskirts of said town. Someone says, does Opie have a dog? She needs to get security cameras. Opie says I have a Ring doorbell, a back door camera and 6 cameras inside, not to mention my beautiful guard dog. We're safe tonight. I have a big dog. I have a boxer mixed with husky. She's loud as hell and doesn't take kindly to strangers. And someone says OP needs to tell her family and friends so she can have a safe plan. OP says trust. My family is notified. My friend is staying with me tonight. I never ever gave my address, but just to be safe. That's so absolutely terrifying. And this isn't the first time I've seen like an absolutely crazy message string like that before. It's incredibly scary because he's convinced himself that he's the nice guy. He can't do no wrong in this situation. And that's his mindset. While this guy is full-blown stalking her across multiple platforms in less than a week. And him gathering intelligence in the background on her family connections and her workplace without her giving any of that information. You know, it's just incredibly scary because you never know how someone like that is going to react. And I really hope that the guy just does fucking back off in the end and leave this person alone. But gee whiz, absolutely terrifying. What do you guys make? And again, like I always say in these stories, the guy, he's still out there somewhere doing his stupid shit. But what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.